Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, says that prices of fish should remain stable despite the increased activity of the Taal volcano. For the details, we have Shyla Francisco joining us live from Mandaluyong City. Shyla, have you observed stable prices in wet markets? Is this true?
Sean, prices of tilapia in some wet markets have increased by 10 pesos. That's despite the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources saying that the Taal volcano's unrest should not result in any fish price hike. Retailers claim that the fish supply from the province of Batangas is limited as some suppliers are not allowed to bring their products. Other retailers, meanwhile, are not passing on the uptick in prices to customers for fear that they might lose them. Tilapia is currently being sold up to 140 pesos per kilo, while bangus is at 120 to 200 pesos per kilo in some wet markets. BFAR said that tilapia should not go beyond 120 pesos per kilo, while bangus should only be sold at 160 pesos a kilo. The agency explained that there is no need to increase prices of fish because there are no delays in the transport of products and that supply remains stable. BFAR added that there are alternative sources of fish in other regions should supply in Batangas get affected. An estimated 5,100 fish cage operators and over 11,000 fishermen are feared to suffer if activities over the Taal volcano continue to escalate. The Agriculture Department vows to provide assistance through finger licks, loan and insurance programs and other aid to affected workers. The DA is still waiting for results of the water sampling in Taal Lake today, but based on latest data, the water quality in the area is within normal levels. Sean, fish farmer groups and BFAR are assuring the public that fish from Taal Lake are safe for human consumption, especially if they are caught fresh and alive. Sean?
All right, thank you so much for that update. That was Shyla Francisco reporting to us live from Mandaluyong. And the number of tourists coming to Tagaytay and other areas in the Calabarzon region has dropped amid the Taal volcano's unrest. This is yet another setback to the local tourism industry, which has yet to recover from COVID-19 lockdowns and last year's Taal volcano eruption. JC Cosico has the story.
This private resort in Barangay Kiling in Talisay, Batangas near the Taal Lake has no guests nor personnel. Its gates locked.
Tao po. Tao po.
All of its staff have already evacuated in anticipation of Taal's eruption.
For protection na rin po ng tao kasi hindi po natin talaga mapipredict yung lagay ng bulkan. Maaring surprise, maaring may abiso galing sa PBOX, pero siguro mas maganda na rin po yung handa.
The resort canceled all its bookings for the month of July as a result of its temporary closure.
Sabi ko naman po sa kanila, if ever mag-okay at bumaba yung level ng bulkan, maybe matuloy sila. Pero sabi ko, aabisuhan ko na rin po sila.
It was only in May this year when the hotel reopened to tourists following the volcano's eruption and the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. No one can tell when they'll be able to bounce back from their losses.
Sa ngayon, hindi ko po masabi kasi nakikiramdam din po kami.
Ma'am, so paano po yung mga staff niyo, ma'am?
Wala po, hindi po pumapasok.
This resort in Barangay Banga, however, remains open but is still not frequented by guests. But its manager said around 10 bookings for this week have also been canceled by vacationers.
Sabi nila, hindi naman na kami tutuloy dahil syempre kahit sino naman. Syempre, ng mga taga rito nga umaalis naman pupunta dito, gano'n. Iyon, natatakot din sila.
Tourism activities like boat rides have also been suspended since last year.
Paano malaking kabawasan, ma'am? Talaga?
Wala nang nagpunta sa island.
Okay.
Gano'n. Syempre, kabawasan din yung sakita namin.
There are around 30 resorts in Talisay, Batangas, but only around 5 were allowed to operate under the current quarantine guidelines.
Kailangan namin sumunod ang dato ng PBOX dahil ito ay para sa kaligtasan ng lahat. Sa boating kasi hindi natin ma-predict kung kailan talaga siya sasabog. Then ang pinangambahan din namin is yung pagtataas ng sulfur dioxide.
The LGU said evacuation plans are in place should Taal's unrest intensify, even though they are not yet gravely affected. To date, the volcano remains under alert level 3.
Wala pa naman kaming paghihigpit dahil ang apektado naman ay yung talagang dalawang bayan na nakapaligid dito sa Taal Volcano. So far, naapektuhan din naman kami. Pero yung hindi ganong kalala yung sulfur dioxide na dumaan dito sa bayan ng Talisay.
Local officials are calling on residents to remain alert amid Taal's unrest. For News 5, JC Cosico, We Are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after this short break. Keep it here. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Health Department reported almost 5,400 new COVID-19 cases on Monday. Our total caseload is now at some 1.4 million, of which 51,500 are still active. Meanwhile, 43 more deaths were confirmed in the last 24 hours, bringing the death toll to almost 25,200. On the other hand, total recoveries are now at 1.3 million after 6,400 new survivors were logged overnight. And over 11.7 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have already been administered across the country. However, only 2.8 million Filipinos have completed the required 2 doses so far, while some 8.8 million people have received their first doses. A record high of more than 1.6 million COVID-19 vaccinations in 7 days were logged last week. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Philippine National Police has ordered its personnel to keep a close eye on fake vaccination cards after the IATF eased domestic travel protocols for the fully inoculated. Malacanang earlier said that those who want to go to places with different quarantine statuses may present COVID-19 vaccination cards in lieu of RT-PCR test results. President Duterte will be visiting the families of those who died in the C-130 plane crash in Paticul, Sulu later today. The Armed Forces is currently investigating the cause of the accident that killed 47 soldiers and 3 civilians. And in sports, Javi Gomez de Leaño has joined a growing list of Filipino ballers who are pursuing careers in Japan. The former guard of the UP Fighting Maroons is set to join the Ibaraki Robots of the Japanese B-League just a few weeks after his younger brother, Juan, also signed with the Japanese B-League team. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.